A Tale of Two Cities. Part 3. Redemption and Resurrection. Paris had become a city of ghosts. Smoke rose from the streets like a veil between life and death. The revolution, merciless and unyielding, had claimed countless lives, yet the story of courage, love, and sacrifice continued to pulse through the veins of those who survived. In the quiet aftermath of the guillotine, Lucie Manette and Charles Darnay emerged like fragile blossoms from the ashes. Lucie's heart, heavy with grief yet buoyed by hope, clung to Darnay with a desperate tenderness. The young couple's love had been tested by fire, betrayal, and the merciless hand of fate. But it had survived. Their embrace was a rebellion against despair, a statement that even in a city built on vengeance, life and love could endure. Dr. Manette, whose years in the Bastille had stripped him of time and sanity, now walked the streets of Paris with a quiet dignity. Though the shadows of his prison years lingered, he had reclaimed something more valuable: the power to act, to save, to protect the lives of those he loved. In his daughter's presence, he rediscovered the essence of humanity, a light against the darkness of history. But it was Sidney Carton whose sacrifice echoed across eternity. His life, wasted and cynical for so long, had found its ultimate purpose. By giving his life for Darnay, Carton transcended his wasted years, leaving behind a legacy that no blade could sever. He faced death with serenity, his final thoughts steeped in love and hope. For Lucie, for Darnay, for the possibility that good could emerge from the darkest corners of the human soul. Carton's final journey was both terrifying and sublime. The guillotine, gleaming and merciless, awaited him. Yet in his eyes was not fear, but clarity. The crowd, deafened by the noise of the revolution, barely noticed the man who stepped forward. He was invisible to them, yet monumental to history. As the blade fell, the world seemed to pause. For Carton, death was not an end, but a culmination, a transformation from despair to immortality through selfless courage. The echo of his sacrifice lingered, even as the city roared with the chaos of revolution. Madame Defarge, relentless in her vengeance, had stitched the names of the guilty and the innocent alike into her knitwork, but even she could not erase the quiet power of love and redemption that Carton's act had ignited. His spirit became a silent force, a reminder that courage could defy tyranny, and that a single act of sacrifice could ripple through history with the force of a tidal wave. Meanwhile, Charles Darnay and Lucie began to navigate the treacherous waters of post-revolutionary Paris. Every step was a careful negotiation between survival and hope. Friends and allies, once hidden in the shadows, emerged to guide them through the chaos. Every whispered warning, every hidden safe house, was a testament to the courage and loyalty of those willing to resist the indiscriminate fury of the times. As the years passed, London became a sanctuary, a place where the echoes of Paris's blood-soaked streets could not reach. Yet even in safety, the memory of sacrifice, the weight of love, and the shadow of history remained. Lucie and Darnay's life together was quiet, yet imbued with profound depth. They carried the memory of those they had lost, and the knowledge that survival was not mere luck but a consequence of courage, intelligence, and the sometimes unspoken bonds of friendship. Dr. Manette, now older and quieter, dedicated himself to healing, not only the physical wounds of those around him, but also the spiritual scars of a generation. He worked tirelessly, a man transformed by suffering, determined to ensure that the cycle of violence and vengeance did not repeat. And in his efforts, he found a kind of redemption for the years stolen from him, a way to return something good to the world that had once imprisoned him. Lucie's love for Darnay deepened with each passing day. Their relationship, forged in the crucible of revolution and danger, transcended the ordinary rhythms of life. It was a love strengthened by fear, loss, and sacrifice, a love that had stared into the abyss and emerged unbroken. Together, they raised their children in a world that, though scarred by history, held the promise of renewal. Yet even as life continued, the memory of Sidney Carton remained vivid, a haunting, inspiring presence. Lucie often thought of him in quiet moments, of the man who had given everything without expectation, who had transformed despair into hope, and whose courage had reshaped the course of lives. His legacy was not written in stone or celebrated with fanfare. It was etched into the hearts of those he saved, a reminder that heroism could emerge from the most unexpected places. The revolution, brutal and unrelenting, eventually subsided, leaving behind a transformed Paris. The streets, once filled with rage and blood, became the stage for rebuilding. The citizens, tempered by hardship, carried lessons of resilience and justice. For some, vengeance had been satisfied. For others, it remained a bitter memory. And for Lucie, Darnay, and Dr. Manette, life became a testament to survival, love, and the enduring power of the human spirit. In the quiet that followed, the story of Sidney Carton took on the qualities of legend. Tales of his sacrifice spread in whispers and letters, inspiring awe and reflection. He became a symbol, not of tragic loss, but of ultimate redemption, proof that even the most wasted life could be transformed into one of profound significance. His death was not an ending, it was a rebirth of hope for those he had touched. Ultimately, A Tale of Two Cities is a story of contrasts, love and hatred, life and death, despair and hope. London and Paris, though separated by geography, were linked by the same currents of human emotion and history. The Revolution, with all its horror, provided the backdrop for acts of courage and love that transcended the chaos. And the lives of Lucie, Darnay, Manette, and Carton stand as enduring reminders that even in the darkest times, compassion, courage, and sacrifice can illuminate the human soul. As the years stretched on, Lucie and Darnay raised their children with stories of the past, not as tales of fear, but as lessons in bravery and love. Dr. Manette continued his healing, a living monument to endurance and renewal. And though Sidney Carton had passed into legend, his spirit remained, a quiet but powerful presence that guided them, reminding all that the greatest triumphs often arise from the greatest sacrifices. In the end, the two cities, one scarred by revolution, the other more serene, served as mirrors of humanity itself. For every act of cruelty, there was an act of courage. For every shadow, there was light. And for every life lost, there was the possibility of redemption, echoing across time and space like a solemn yet hopeful melody. The final lesson, carved into the hearts of all who endured, was clear. Love, courage, and sacrifice are eternal. They survive even when cities burn, when tyrants fall, and when history seems cruel beyond measure. The story of a single life, a single act of bravery, like that of Sidney Carton, can alter destinies, heal wounds, and inspire generations yet unborn. And so, from the ashes of revolution, from the quiet streets of London to the fire-scorched avenues of Paris, life endured, love survived, courage triumphed, and a single wasted life became immortal, forever entwined with the fate of two cities and the hearts of those who dared to hope.